Hi, everyone. Right, let me start. But I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owner and custodian of the land where we meet today, and also would like to pay my respect to their elder, past, present, and emerging. Whew. I never imagined I would be here, not only on this stage, but also in this country, speaking in this language, having this role, leading an experienced design team for great companies. But before I tell you how I got into design, I need to take you back, way back, to where I came from. Because the story doesn't start here. It started in a place where very few people even knew that we were existed. So, I was born and raised in Banda Aceh. It's at the tip of Sumatra, of Indonesia, a place full of strength and beauty. But for most of my life, shaped by conflict, civil war between separatism movement of Free Aceh and Indonesian government. And that was going on for 30 years. We had curfews, special ID cards only Acehnese people have. We didn't go out at night, especially for men, because people could disappear and never return. When I was 13, a car exploded just 500 meters from my house. My uncle was kidnapped because he was the head of the village. We found bodies in ditches. Schools were burnt. Journalism was censored and quiet. So even as kids, we learned to be very careful with our words. Aceh was what people call a red tape region. It was militarized, silent, unseen. Even most Indonesian didn't really know what was happening then. And yet, we kept living. We went to school, we laughed, we dreamed, we carried hope, quietly, even when the things were loud. So some of us learned how to survive before we learned to speak up. That was me. And then the silence broke. Not because we found our voice, but because the world turned its eyes on us for the first time. So at the time, I was studying architecture, seen some trends here today with architecture, working part-time at a radio station in Aceh as a radio host, just a regular student in a small town, living my small life. But then the tsunami hit. I don't know if you remember, 2004, Boxing Day, 26th of December. It was devastating. Everyone lost everyone. I lost my two best friends. They never found. My parents went and flicked all the bodies of the kids because they thought it might be my brother because he would spend his time at my cousin's. And everything else that happened at the time, you probably remember, you saw on the news. But strangely, it was also a turning point. The waves, it didn't just destroy, it exposed. Suddenly, the world saw Aceh. 8 workers arrived. Media came. The silence cracked. The world realized it was not only disaster that we faced, there were also conflict. Long story short, we got peace agreement in March 2005. No more conflict. The wave of the tsunami washed away the blood of the 30 years. So for a lot of us in Aceh, we saw it as blessed in disguise. Then I became a translator, working for different journalism and media, covering stories of disaster recovery, post-conflict healing, and the resilience of my people. And all the while, I kept studying, graduated, became a junior architect, kept doing my journalism and at radio station. By day, design homes, design building, playing with AutoCAD, if for you those there could relate. And by night, I told stories, and somehow it's all connected. Even while rebuilding, I kept studying, kept designing, kept telling a story. It was all chaotic, but made sense. And then came the next chapter, the one that I never imagined would ever be mine. So eventually, I received a scholarship to study architecture overseas to do my master. That opened door to Australia. With that came possibility, but also disorientation. I began to explore design beyond buildings, systems, community, experience, service, technology. It felt exciting, but also I felt incredibly small. That scholarship brought me to Australia. But arriving doesn't mean you've arrived. What followed was messy, painful, and full of moments where I almost gave up. I struggled, for those who could relate, with visas. We talked about recognition of studies before, with confidence, with my identity. At one point, I was on the brink of homelessness. I remember thinking, maybe I should just go back to Aceh, pack my bags, go back to architecture, go back to radio station, the path that, I should go back. There you go. Go back to architecture and pack my bag, the path that I already knew, the easy one. I told my parents, I begged them to tell me to go home. I'll go home tomorrow. But they said, no, we believe you're happier there. Have faith in yourself. We have faith in you. So I stayed. I tried everything to stay afloat. Hospitality jobs, tutoring, face paintings at kids' parties, letterbox drop, knocking on doors, convincing people to sign their energy for, what do you call this? The green roof. So solar panels, that's it. You name it. Anything that would let me stay a little longer, try a little harder, and keep some part of the dream alive. I didn't speak perfect English. I still don't. I have an accent. I still do, as you could hear. And for a long time, though, I let that silence me. I'd have an ideas. But by the time I translated it in my head, the moment was already gone. I felt stupid. But not because I was, but because I didn't sound like everyone else. It took years for me to realize that languages isn't intelligent and that belonging doesn't always come from fitting in. It came from standing strong and what makes you different. Eventually, I found my way into human-centered design. That led me to learn how to speak. And that way, I didn't find it through a straight line, but through everything I carried with me. It gave me a new language, a way to think, to connect, to lead, to relate. And at some point, I realized all of it led me here. The conflict, the silence, the architecture, the radio, the storytelling, the migration, the different profession, the mess. So many learnings in every step and turn, every bit of it. It made me who I am today. It brought me to this sweet spot where leadership and human-centered design meet. Because when you have to reinvent your identity, find a new language, and navigate power structures, you started to see creativity as survival. That's what human-centered is at its core. It's not just creating things, but making space, holding ambiguity, and staying human while doing it. Creativity isn't a luxury. It's how we move forward when life is everything but certain. So, if you're ever felt, feeling like you don't belong, like your story doesn't fit in, let me leave you with this. I'm not here to tell you to dream big. I'm just here to remind you it's possible. Even if your current reality look otherwise, even if your path doesn't look like anyone else's, even if you speak with an accent, even if you felt invisible, unsure, or like you don't belong. If a girl from conflict-affected Aceh who grew up in silence, lived through a tsunami, and studied over again and again, can be here today, maybe the next voice that the world needs is already in this room. Thank you.